Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn GCS with Mahesh. Today we'll see how to mount a Google Cloud Storage bucket as a file system on Google Cloud Compute Engine, primarily a Linux machine, and on my laptop, which is a Windows laptop. I have installed Windows Subsystem for Linux. How do I mount it on this is what I wanted to show, which is really a cool part, I would say, because you get easily huge volume of data which I can easily mount, and I can copy some data to my Google Cloud Storage bucket by just using a small simple CP commands, so which is really a cool option. So let's look into it, and all the credit goes to this adapter called as Google Cloud Storage Fuse. So let's look into it. A quick shout out before we look into the demonstration. So I'm starting my batch 8 starting from 22nd of January. If you are interested, please drop me a mail at learngcpwithmahesh@gmail.com. So going to the demonstration. Alright, this is the documentation which we are going to use. Again, even in today's demonstration, document really rocks. So Google Cloud Storage Fuse, an open source fuse adapter that allows you to mount Google Cloud Storage bucket as file system on Linux and Mac. So but if we use Windows Subsystem for Linux, even on Windows it is possible. That is the one which I wanted to show. So basically I'm going to use this documentation. So here, looking at the GitHub page, you will see these are the supported operating systems which you can use. Now I'm going to use Debian 10, which is not mentioned, but it's still going to work. So on my Windows machine, I'm going to use Ubuntu 20.04. So that you will get to know that it works in two different operating systems. So the command which I should use is basically these things. So before that, I have to have my virtual machine provisioned. So what I'm going to do is I will try to use some best practices here. So I'm going to create a virtual machine. That virtual machine is going to use a service account. This is a service account which I have created because we are going to deal with a Google Cloud Storage bucket. I'm going to give this service account a role which is storage admin. And I have mentioned all the details here. So the name of the virtual machine, in which zone it is going to be provisioned, and the most important thing, it is Debian operating system 10. And this is the most important piece, some best practices while doing the demonstration. So let's create this virtual machine. Once this virtual machine gets created, I'm going to basically mount this bucket. The name of the bucket is GCS You Are Awesome. So this is the bucket which we are going to mount. So let's wait for the VM to come up. Once it comes up, I'm going to basically copy these commands, literally copy paste the commands, and it should start installing the stuffs, and we should be able to mount it. So let's just wait for the VM to come up. Still taking time for it to come up. Once it comes, yes, it is there. Let me SSH. And the reason why I am showing my taskbar is just to show that I am running it on a Windows machine. That's the only reason, nothing else. So that you know, there's no goof up done in the video. It is basically on a true Windows system is what I am trying to run this part. So this is done. Paste this command. So then run this next piece of the command. -y, so that it does not prompt. So waiting for this stuff to install. Once it installs, we should have basically GCS fuse. So let me just make this like this so that it's easy. So the next part is just go and mount it, folks. So this is the bucket which we are going to mount. So I'm going to copy this. Now the key part is, because we are using the service account, everything is going to be taken care of by the service account itself, and we have also given it the right IAM role. So this is the one. So I'm going to use GCS fuse, the name of the bucket. So okay, before that I have to create a folder where it has to be mounted. So what I will do is I'll create a folder Linux mount, and I have created it in my home directory itself. But before I run this command, I wanted to show you some beautiful stuff. df-h, this is what you see. There's nothing mounted. Now I'm going to run GCS fuse, the name of the bucket, and the mount mounted successfully, folks. You see starting, opening the connection, mounting, successful, done. Now if I run df-h, you will see 1 petabyte of information, 1 petabyte of size basically is what is available. And we know a virtual machine basically can have a disk which is only 64 terabytes, one disk. Now I have 1 petabyte of a disk mounted, folks. I can easily transfer good amount of data. Now let me just look into this bucket. So I'll just slightly minimize this, take it up. So change my directory to Linux mount. And if I do this, I should be able to see the data. And if I just do cat, I should be able to see the content. Now, can I create something here? Yes. Live demo gcs.txt. The file we have created basically in Google Cloud Storage bucket itself directly. Now if I go ahead and refresh this page, I should be able to see gcs.stuff, and if I click on it, I should be able to see the content of that also, folks. I should be able to see the content, live demo. Awesome. So, and the cool part which I really liked is I can do VI. I can edit this stuff. This is not something possible in a blob storage, BLOB. But because of the fuse adapter, I can do this kind of an editing, folks. Second line added. This is awesome. Right, and quit. So, and there's going to be a little lag. So let's accept the reality. This is a blob storage and we are using an adapter. So definitely there's going to be some kind of a lag there. So if I just do now, you should be able to see that, and I can also see it here. Cool. And this is totally open source. Now all good. So we were able to do something particularly as per the documentation. Linux and Mac. We also saw it is only supported in view things. Now what I wanted to do is basically I'm going to minimize the stuffs. So I'm going to, all right, I have my Windows machine and you can see basically the Windows logo. I have my taskbar. This is basically Windows subsystem for Linux, where I have Ubuntu machine. I can just show what is the version of it. So something which is mentioned in the documentation, the same thing is what I have installed, luckily. The next part which I wanted to show is basically I have not even created any account here. So if I run gcloud config list, you should be able to see not much details. What is the account, all those things, it's not going to show. So let's wait for it. You see there's now no information basically about what is the user or anything. So meaning there's no connectivity between my project and my laptop's machine, this WSL, basically Windows subsystem for Linux. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this command. I already have installed GCS fuse just to save some time, so it's already there. I have to just mention my bucket name and the folder into which I want to mount. So the same command, before I do it, I am just going to run this. I don't see any mount, and I'm going to create a directory, Windows mount. We'll call it as Windows mount. Okay, where I am there basically. Okay, I already have it. Maybe let me just delete this. Windows mount. So I have this. Now this is where I'm going to mount my Google Cloud Storage bucket. So as usual, if I make it big, df-h, this is what you see. Now GCS fuse, I have to mention the bucket name followed by this thing. So if let me just type the command GCS fuse, the name of the bucket, then Windows. If I do this right, it's not going to work because I have no authentication done. So what's going to show? It's going to say starting, opening, that's it. It's going to stop there. It's not going to connect further. Only reason is there's no credentials basically. So to do that, basically I'm going to run gcloud auth application default login. So if I use this, I'm going to get a URL where I have to use this and authenticate myself. I'm going to get a token. I add the token here. Then I should be able to basically run the command of GCS fuse. Let's just wait for the URL to show up. Yes, this is the URL. So let me just connect it. So I'll paste this. I use the same account. So allow. I get this. So here if I paste this, I should be able to basically get my credentials, and my credentials is going to be saved in this location. So you can ignore this warning message, so should not be a problem. Now df-h, then now the GCS fuse, the awesome command. Let's see whether it's going to work in Windows Subsystem for Linux. So awesome, we are able to connect it. Basically I see some warning message. Maybe I did the previous demo, that's the reason. So let's see whether I'm able to, okay, I guess I connected already because it was already mounted, my bad. So let me just do one more bucket. I'll just create a bucket quickly. GSutil GCS make bucket GCS : another GCS demo LGWM. So I'm trying to make it unique. So let's create the bucket and I will basically try to mount this bucket and show you how it works basically. So let's just wait for it. I guess, okay, let me just do GSutil. I guess with just that application, default application login, I will not be able to create it. Let me just do one more. Yeah, that is a problem. So let me create one more bucket, folks, just to show it works. Or I can unmount it also, but let me just create one more. Another GCS fuse demo. I'm just going to leave everything default, create it. So I'll just use this. I will use another bucket, make directory Windows to mount. Then I would use GCS fuse, the name of the bucket, Windows 2, and hit enter. I should be able to also authenticate it. Now you see, don't see that warning message. So now if I do df-h, I will see 2 petabytes of data easily, which can be mounted, and I should start doing it. So let me just switch to my Windows to mount. I have nothing here, so I'm going to basically create awesome 1 petabyte of data. So GCS fuse done. So I have my data there. So and you see a little lag, folks. I see that is something acceptable is my understanding. So I see a lag, but the data is there. I can do a cat. I see this data and I minimize this, go to my bucket and refresh it. I should be able to see it, and I should be able to see the data also showing up. Awesome, right? Really cool. So that's the demo which I wanted to show, basically how you can mount a Google Cloud Storage bucket on Linux, Mac, and also on Windows if you have Windows Subsystem for Linux. So do let me know your comments and thoughts on the video. Thank you for watching.